In the heart of a small American town, 16-year-old Sarah Jenkins stands trembling, her wrists bound to a flagpole as cruel laughter echoes from the bullies surrounding her. The crowd jeers, her humiliation streaming live on social media. But what these kids don't know is that Sarah's mother, a battle-hardened Army pilot, is minutes away. Her helicopter slicing through the sky, ready to unleash a reckoning that will leave jaws on the ground. Buckle up for a story of vengeance, redemption, and a mother's unbreakable love that'll hit you like a thunderbolt. Don't miss a second. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story this explosive. Sarah Jenkins was no stranger to hardship, but nothing could have prepared her for the cold bite of rope against her wrists on that crisp autumn afternoon. At 16, she was a quiet girl with mousy brown hair and a knack for blending into the background at Lincoln High School in Willow Creek, Ohio. Her faded jeans and secondhand sweaters made her an easy target for the popular crowd, led by Brittany Carver, a senior with a venomous smile and a talent for cruelty. Sarah's family wasn't wealthy. Her mother, Captain Laura Jenkins, was a single parent serving in the U.S. Army, often deployed for months at a time. Sarah lived with her grandmother, a kind but frail woman who couldn't keep up with the complexities of teenage life that left Sarah vulnerable, and Brittany knew exactly how to exploit it. Asterisk, it started with whispers in the hallways, snickers about Sarah's thrift store clothes, and fake sympathy when she tripped over accidentally. Outstretched feet, but Brittany's campaign escalated after Sarah aced a history exam, earning praise from their teacher, Mr. Dawson, in front of the whole class. Brittany, who'd barely passed, saw it as a personal slight. Her papa Jake, a football player with a mean streak, and Mia, a cheerleader who followed Brittany like a shadow, ramped up the torment. They stole Sarah's books, spread rumors she was a thief, and posted mocking photos of her online. By October, Sarah dreaded school, her stomach knotting each morning as she walked through the gates. Asterisk, the flagpole incident wasn't planned, at least not in detail. It was a Friday, the last day before fall break, and the air buzzed with teenage restlessness. Sarah had stayed late for art club, her one escape where she could lose herself in sketching. As she left the school, backpack slung over one shoulder, Brittany and her crew were waiting by the flagpole in the courtyard. The American flag snapped in the wind above, and a small crowd of students lingered, sensing trouble. "Hey, scholarship girl," Brittany called, her voice dripping with mock sweetness. Sarah froze, her heart pounding. She tried to walk past, but Jake blocked her path, his grin wide and predatory. "Not so fast," he said, grabbing her arm. Asterisk, before Sarah could react, Mia snatched her backpack, dumping its contents onto the grass. Pencils, notebooks, and a sketchpad scattered, the wind catching a drawing of a helicopter Sarah had drawn for her mom. Brittany picked it up, laughing. "Ah, look, it's Mommy's chopper. Bad she's never around to save you." The crowd snickered, phones already out, recording. Sarah's cheeks burned, but she stayed silent, knowing words would only make it worse. Then Brittany pulled a coil of rope from Jake's Jimbaga prop from a prank they'd planned for a rival school. "Let's make her famous," Brittany said, her eyes glinting. Asterisk, they dragged Sarah to the flagpole, her struggles futile against Jake's strength. The rope bit into her wrists as they tied her hands behind the pole, looping it tight enough to sting but loose enough to look playful to anyone watching. The crowd grew, some kids laughing, others shifting uncomfortably, but doing nothing to stop it. Brittany stepped back, filming on her phone. "Smile, Sarah. This is going viral." Tears stung Sarah's eyes, but she refused to cry, staring at the ground as insults rained down. The live stream on Brittany's social media was already racking up views, comments flooding in with laughing emojis and cruel jabs. Asterisk, miles away, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Captain Laura Jenkins was in the middle of a routine training flight. A 38-year-old Black Hawk helicopter pilot with 15 years in the Army, Laura was a force of nature, calm under pressure, fiercely protective of her daughter, and no stranger to facing down threats. She'd been deployed 3 times, flying missions in conflict zones, but her toughest battle was always leaving Sarah behind. That afternoon, her phone buzzed with an alert from Sarah's school app, a feature she'd installed to monitor her daughter's safety. A tagged video popped up, the thumbnail showing Sarah's face, pale and humiliated, tied to a flagpole. Laura's blood ran cold. She didn't hesitate. "Get me clearance to divert," she told her co-pilot, her voice steel. Now, back at Lincoln High, the situation was spiraling. The crowd had swelled to nearly 50 students, some egging Brittany on, others whispering that this was going too far. Sarah's best friend, Ellie, a shy girl who'd always stuck by her, pushed through the crowd, yelling, "Let her go." Brittany shoved Ellie back, laughing. "Mind your business, nerd." But Ellie wasn't giving up. She bolted toward the school to find a teacher, her sneakers pounding the pavement. Inside, Mr. Dawson was grading papers when Ellie burst in, breathless, explaining everything. Grabbed his phone, calling the principal, but before he could, a low rhythmic thrum filled the air. The sound grew louder, a deep hump that made the crowd look up. A Black Hawk helicopter crested the horizon, its dark silhouette unmistakable against the orange autumn sky. Students froze, mouths open, as the chopper descended toward the school's football field, kicking up dust and leaves. Brittany's smirk faltered, her phone still recording. Sarah's eyes widened, a spark of hope breaking through her fear. Knew that sound. She'd heard it 1,000 times when her mom came home from deployments. The helicopter landed with precision, the rotor wash flattening the grass. Now the door slid open, and Captain Laura Jenkins stepped out, her flight suit crisp, her expression a storm cloud. The crowd parted as Laura strode across the field, her boots crunching on the gravel. Path to the courtyard. Students whispered, phones now filming her instead of Sarah. Brittany lowered her phone, her bravado crumbling. Laura's eyes locked on her daughter, tied to the flagpole, and her jaw tightened. She didn't shout or run. She walked with the calm of someone who'd faced worse than a pack of teenagers. "Untie her," Laura said, her voice low but carrying the weight of command. Jake fumbled with the rope, his hands shaking, while Brittany stammered, "It was just a joke, ma'am." Laura ignored her, kneeling to help Sarah as the ropes fell away. Sarah collapsed into her mother's arms, whispering, "I'm sorry, Mom." Laura held her tight, her voice soft but firm. "You have nothing to be sorry for." She stood, pulling Sarah to her feet, and turned to the crowd. "Who's responsible?" she asked, her tone daring anyone to lie. The students were silent, eyes down. Brittany tried to slip away, but Laura's gaze pinned her. "You name?" Brittany muttered her name, her face pale. Laura didn't yell. She didn't need to. "You think this is power?" she said, gesturing to the flagpole. "Tying up someone weaker than you? That's not power. It's cowardice." As the crowd stood frozen, a new figure emerged from the onlookers, shattering the tension with a revelation that no one saw coming. It was Coach Reynolds, the school's beloved football coach, a man known for his fairness and tough love. His face was ashen, and his voice trembled as he stepped forward, addressing Laura directly. "Captain Jenkins, I owe you and Sarah Ann." "Apology." The crowd gasped, confused, as he continued. "I knew Brittany and her friends were targeting Sarah. I saw the SIG. Signs her book's missing. The whispers in the locker room, but I turned a blind eye. Brittany's father sponsors the team, and I thought ignoring it would keep the program funded." Sarah's eyes widened, betrayal cutting deeper than the ropes ever had. Laura's expression hardened, her military training keeping her composed, but her voice was ice. "You let my daughter suffer to save your budget," Coach Reynolds nodded, shame etching his features. "I was wrong. I thought it was just kids being kids, but I should have stepped in." He turned to Sarah, his voice breaking. "I'm stepping down, Sarah. You deserve better than a coward like me." The crowd murmured, some students whispering in shock, others nodding in respect. Brittany's face crumpled, realizing her father's influence wouldn't shield her this time. "You'll answer for this, but right now, my daughter comes first." The revelation sent ripples through Willow Creek, exposing a deeper rot in the school's culture. It wasn't just Brittany's cruelty, it was a system that had let it fester, and Laura's arrival had cracked it open. Sarah, still clinging to her mother, felt a spark of something new, not just relief, but a resolve to hold others accountable, starting with the adults who'd failed her. Asterisk, before Laura could lead Sarah away. Another voice cut through the murmurs, sharp and quivering with emotion. It was Mrs. Carver, Brittany's mother, pushing through the crowd, her designer purse clutched tightly in manicured hands. Her face was a mix of fury and desperation as she faced Laura. "You don't understand," she said, her voice cracking. "Sarah isn't innocent in this." The crowd fell silent, stunned, as Mrs. Carver's words hung in the air. She turned to Sarah, her eyes wild. "Tell them, Sarah! Tell them about the letter!" Sarah froze, her breath catching as Laura's hand tightened on her shoulder. Years ago, when Sarah was in middle school, she and Brittany had been friends, close, enough to share secrets. Sarah had written Brittany a letter, confessing she'd seen Brittany's father with another woman at a coffee shop, urging Brittany to talk to her mom. Brittany had never forgiven her, believing Sarah's words had fractured her parents' marriage. That betrayal, buried for years, had fueled Brittany's hatred, turning her into the bully she was now. Mrs. Carver, her voice breaking, admitted she'd known about the bullying, but thought it was Brittany's way of coping with their family's pain. "I didn't stop her," she confessed, tears streaming. "I thought Sarah deserved it for meddling." Laura's eyes narrowed, but Sarah stepped forward, her voice shaky but clear. "I was trying to help you, Brittany. I never meant to hurt you." Brittany's face crumpled, shame replacing her defiance. The crowd was speechless, the weight of this hidden history shifting their view of the conflict. Laura pulled Sarah close, her voice low. "You were a child trying to do the right thing. This ends now." The revelation rocked Willow Creek, exposing not just teenage cruelty but the tangled web of adult failures that had let it spiral. It gave Sarah a new perspective. She wasn't just a victim, but someone whose kindness had been twisted against her. It steeled her resolve to rise above it. Asterisk, the principal. Mrs. Carter arrived with Mr. Dawson, breathless and horrified. She'd already called the police, but Laura's presence had shifted the dynamic. The crowd dispersed, some kids slinking away, others staying to watch the fallout. Laura turned to Mrs. Carter. "I want every student involved disciplined, and I want that video off the internet." Mrs. Carter nodded, promising immediate action. As police sirens approached, Laura guided Sarah toward the helicopter, but not before Brittany muttered under her breath, "She deserved it." Laura stopped, turning slowly. "Say that again?" she challenged. Brittany shrank back, silent. Asterisk, in the days that followed, Willow Creek buzzed with the story. Brittany, Jake, and Mia faced suspension, and the video was scrubbed from social media after Laura's lawyer friend from her unit threatened legal action. But the real twist came a week later, when Sarah returned to school. She'd always been quiet, but something had changed. She walked taller, her mother's strength reflected in her eyes. Ellie had rallied other students, starting an anti-bullying campaign that gained traction across the town. Sarah even spoke at an assembly, her voice steady as she shared her story, urging others to stand up to cruelty. The crowd applauded, some in tears. Asterisk, but the drama wasn't over. An anonymous tip revealed Brittany's father, a local businessman, had been pressuring the school to downplay the incident to protect his daughter's college prospects. When the story hit the local news, his influence crumbled, and Brittany's family moved away, unable to face the backlash. Meanwhile, Laura took leave to stay with Sarah, teaching her to fly a simulator and sharing stories of her missions. Sarah's sketches took on new life, filled with images of helicopters soaring over battlefields and small towns alike. Asterisk, the final twist came months later. At a school talent show, Sarah, who'd never performed publicly, took the stage with a spoken-word poem about resilience, dedicating it to her mom. The audience was silent, then erupted in applause. In the front row, Laura wiped away a tear, her tough exterior cracking just enough to show her pride. Sarah had found her voice, and Willow Creek would never forget the day a helicopter landed to remind them what strength really looked like. Wow, what a ride! Sarah's story shows us the power of standing up and the unbreakable bond between a mother and daughter. We'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city or state in the comments below and let us know what you thought of this incredible tale. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. See you in the next one.